OpenClaw explained simply. Automation is becoming essential for creators and businesses. OpenClaw is designed to help you connect tools and automate workflows without needing to code. In this explanation, you'll understand what OpenClaw is, how it works, who it's for, and when you should use it, all in simple language. Now, let's go over what OpenClaw is. OpenClaw is an automation platform that simply means that you connect different apps together, you create rules or workflows using those apps, and OpenClaw performs actions automatically for you. So instead of manually moving data between tools, OpenClaw does it in the background. Think of it like a digital assistant that follows instructions you set once and then repeats them forever. Now, many people use multiple tools on a daily basis. For example, someone could be using a form tool, an email platform, a spreadsheet, a CRM, a database, a chatbot. But now the problem with using these tools is that these tools don't automatically talk to each other. So as you can understand that with time, the use of tools has increased and one person uses a lot of tools or several tools on a daily basis. And then instead of saving time, we are spending so much time on our tools. And then the problem which arises, or a solution that we can have to this problem, is that the tools can automatically talk to each other, or the tools can connect to each other by themselves. And this is where the solution of automation comes in. Now, without automation, what you do is that you copy the data manually, you send repetitive emails yourself, you update the spreadsheets yourself, and you waste a lot of time. OpenClaw connects them. It connects the apps together and then creates workflows. So when something happens in one app, it automatically triggers actions in another app. So for that, basically, you go over to your OpenClaw chat, and then in the chat here, you type in commands, and then you ask your assistant to carry out all of these activities, all of these tasks. You tell it to carry out these automations, and then you can communicate with it from here. Now, if you also install or if you connect your apps, for example, if you connect Telegram or WhatsApp or iMessage, then you can also send it commands from there. The best app which is recommended, which works the best with OpenClaw, is a Telegram because it supports bots. So if you connect your Telegram, then you can manage all this OpenClaw, you can manage this area. You can keep sending it commands from your Telegram, which would be in your phone, which would be in your pocket. And not just managing and sending commands, but actually getting feedback or getting input on how everything is going, or actually getting the results. For example, if you asked it to give you a summary of any of your emails that you received in the morning, then as soon as it receives your morning emails, it's going to generate a summary, and then it's going to give you that summary. So of course, if you have access to it through your phone, through Telegram, only then you can access the outcomes as well. Then you'll be able to access the summary. For example, you might want updates on your email replies, or you might want updates on your meetings, when you have a meeting, what your meeting timings are, or you want it to manage your calendar. So all these activities, everything that we've talked about, you need updates regarding that, and you're going to want OpenClaw to give you updates regarding all of this, and that can be done through Telegram, through your phone, which would be in your pocket, in your bag, which you can access at all times, and you don't have to sit on your PC all the time. Because what's interesting about OpenClaw is that it runs 24/7, and it doesn't just run in the background, it's actively working on all of your tasks, communicating with you at all times too. So if you want access at all times, then you can connect to Telegram or WhatsApp, and if you want to access this from your PC, then you can access it like this, just the way that I'm accessing it right now here. So now let's consider a scenario. Let's say that you are someone who runs an online course. Now, just to understand OpenClaw, we're considering this scenario. So you run an online course, and as soon as someone enrolls in your course, what would you want to do? You would basically want to send them a welcome email. You would want to add them to your student list, and then you would want to notify your team. and maybe even give them access to the content that you promise. So these are a lot of activities, several things that you would have to do, but imagine not having to do all of that. So instead of doing all of that manually, OpenClaw can automate the entire process. OpenClaw is going to automate all of those activities. It's going to make sure that whenever someone enrolls, that is going to be the trigger, and then OpenClaw is going to have actions set for this. And then as soon as the trigger takes place, the actions are going to start happening because of what OpenClaw has set up. So the actions are going to be that the person who just enrolled is going to get sent a welcome email. So OpenClaw is going to manage your email, and it is going to send a welcome email through your email to that person. Then what else it's going to do is that it is going to add that person to your student list. So it's going to have access to all your files, everything. It's going to have access to where you manage your student list, and then it's going to add in their name to the student list and their details to the student details list. Then OpenClaw is going to notify your team as well. So wherever you manage your team, for example, if it's on Slack or wherever, WhatsApp, wherever you manage your team, it is going to manage your team for you, and it is going to go over to that platform, and then it will send them the information. It's going to notify the team as well by itself. So you don't have to do any of these. And then in the end, when we talked about giving them access to content, OpenClaw can do that as well, and whatever platform you're using in order to provide them the content, whether you're doing it through Drive, whether you're doing it through Slack, whether you're doing it over WhatsApp, maybe you're sending them a link, and then when they access that link, they can get all of the content. Whatever way you are using, whatever path it is, OpenClaw will carry that out, and it will give those people who have enrolled, and OpenClaw is going to give the student the access to your content. So instead of doing all of that by yourself, OpenClaw can do that for you. So all that's going to happen is one enrollment is going to take place, and then everything happens automatically for that enrollment. Now, we also should go over who OpenClaw is for. And OpenClaw is useful for content creators, it's useful for online educators, e-commerce store owners, agencies, small businesses, freelancers, marketing teams, and basically anyone who uses multiple tools and wants to save time. So if you are someone who repeats their tasks weekly or daily, then automation definitely makes sense for you. And OpenClaw is something you should be looking forward to using. Now, some automation tools can feel technical, but OpenClaw focuses on visual workflow building, drag and drop style setup, clear logic steps, no coding required, and flexible integrations. So it's safe to say that it is designed to be powerful, but also beginner friendly. So what really can you automate with OpenClaw? Some common things that people automate are such as lead generation. So in terms of lead generation, you have a form which has been submitted. So when a form gets submitted, it could be a form on a landing page, on someone's website, on a store, on social media, anywhere. So as soon as a form is submitted which has some kind of contact information, so that is basically the trigger. And then after that, the actions are going to take place. So what would the action be for after form submission? It would be adding to CRM. So as soon as the form gets submitted and you get that contact information, the automation or OpenClaw is going to add that contact information to the CRM. Then is going to send that person an email. So in the form, they must have entered in their email address. So OpenClaw is going to send that person an email. It could be some kind of advertisement, it could be some limited time access or some kind of a deal. And then lastly is going to notify the team that there's been a form submission and we have a new contact and this is their detail and they've been sent an email. So the team is going to get notified as well. And this was a completely automated setup. Yourself did not have to do anything. The form was submitted by the other person, and then all the actions taking place, such as adding to CRM and sending the email and notifying the team, all of this was done by OpenClaw. Now you can also have automations for e-commerce. So for example, you may get a new order, and as soon as you get a new order, so that new order submission would be the trigger, and then you would get the actions. So the action right after the order submission would be sending a confirmation to the person who just placed that order. So they're going to get sent a confirmation through the automation, and they're also going to get an update in the inventory. So the inventory is going to get updated, and then automatically the information would get added to the database. Now you can also have automations for social media. So for example, you could have a new blog post that would be the trigger, and then the action would be auto sharing on platforms. So the blog post that was just posted would automatically get shared on all the different platforms. So basically, if you can define a rule such as when X happens, do Y, then OpenClaw can likely automate it. Now, most of the workflows are built visually and you do not need any coding skills. However, if you are someone advanced, then you can add conditional logic. If you need to, you can use filters and you can customize the data feeds. But beginners can stick to simple trigger action flows. Now, it's also considered that OpenClaw is replacing manual work. So this is not exactly what it is. It doesn't actually think for you. It does execute instructions, but you are still the one who is deciding. You are the one deciding what should happen. You're the one deciding in what order it should happen and under what conditions. So OpenClaw simply performs it consistently, and that is all it does. You should consider using OpenClaw if you copy data between tools frequently, if you send repetitive emails, if you manually update spreadsheets, if you manage client workflows, and if you want systems instead of chaos. So if that's what you want, then if your business is growing and tasks are repeating, then automation becomes necessary. OpenClaw is an automation platform, a tool that connects apps, a way to eliminate repetitive tasks, and a system builder for workflows. Instead of manually handling tasks every day, you can set up a system once and let it run with OpenClaw. And that is OpenClaw explained simply.